know why I'm doing this. Hey guys, my name is Miranda and happy Monday! I know I hardly ever talk about books that I don't like on my channel because naturally I just love talking about the books I like because I want you guys to read them too. So today we are going to be talking about the books that I started reading but I did not finish, aka books I DNF'd. DNF means did not finish, just in case you were wondering. I'm gonna go ahead and start by talking about the single book, which I know this one is gonna get so much hate already. Yikes. The first book I want to talk about is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. So I tried to read this book over the summer because it was my classic summer, and this was one of the classics I was really looking forward to. I started reading it, and I think I got approximately 5, maybe 6 chapters into it, and I was completely lost. I didn't know who the heck was speaking. There was like 5 different names that started with A. I think it was A. Maybe it was a different letter, but I know that there was like 5 names that seemed so similar to each other. Maybe I'll try to read it again when I'm older. I just did not have the attention span to read it now. Now, time to talk about the series of books that I haven't finished. The first series I want to talk to you guys about today is Alice in Zombieland by Gina Showalter. Alice in Zombieland is a young adult fantasy series all about zombies. Technically, that's literally all it's about. This is actually a series of 4 books. There are 2 more after these, but I only own the first 2 because these are the only 2 I enjoyed. I had a lot of issues with this series because I felt that it tried too hard to connect to the original classic. The only thing these books had in common with Alice in Wonderland was literally the titles, and the main character's name is Alice. She also saw a cloud in the sky that was shaped like a white rabbit whenever the zombies were going to come out at night. So like that was kind of Alice in Wonderland-y, but literally everything else is completely different. So I don't know how I feel about that. So yeah, I just did not have the desire to finish this series just because of how disgusted I was with the 3rd book. I don't even know how to explain it. It just was not, it was very uncomfortable for me. The first book was definitely the best, but the series just kept getting worse and worse. So, yeah. The second series I want to talk about is The 100 Cupboards by N.D. Wilson, and I actually do own all of these books. This series is a middle grade fantasy series all about our main character Henry as he discovers that his aunt and uncle, I'm pretty sure it's his aunt and uncle, they have 100 hidden cupboards in their walls, and each one leads to a different world. So there's actually a funny story that goes along with me not finishing this series, because if I was to choose, I definitely would have finished this series. But this 3rd book, when I ordered it, it actually came with a misprint, and instead of printing out the 9th and 10th chapter, it just repeated chapters 7 and 8. I don't know if that made any sense, but technically it had chapters 7, 8, and then 7, 8 again, and then it continued on with 11, 12, 13, and so on and so on. So this book actually basically has a whole chunk of the story missing, and that's why I didn't finish it, because I really couldn't. I actually bought this book online, so I got my money back for it, but they didn't actually ask for the real book back. So I casually have a misprinted book in my library. Fun fact. But of course, I can't just blame the misprint for everything, because if I really wanted to finish it, I really easily could have ordered a 3rd book and I could have finished it. But I realized that I just really didn't care. I just feel like N.D. Wilson kept on elongating the series, and it actually is a very good series. I was very surprised at how much I enjoyed it. I just didn't feel the need for the 3rd book, so I just didn't really finish it. On the topic of not caring about other books in the series, the next series I have to talk about is The Young World by Chris Weitz. The Young World series is a young adult dystopian series all about a world in which everybody 18 or older is eradicated by a disease. So it quite literally leaves the youngins to take care of everything, to take care of the government and whatnot. It's actually very interesting, and I really liked the idea that inspired this book. But I read the whole entire first book But the second book, I got like 5 chapters in and I didn't feel like it was needed. I felt like there was a note of finality at the end of the first book that I felt satisfied with the story and where the characters were. I didn't really feel like I needed to know what happened next. So it's not necessarily an issue with the books themselves, it's just an issue with me. Last but not least is the series Asylum by Madeline Rokes. I'm pretty sure that's how you say her name. Because I didn't even finish this first book, I don't really remember a lot about the storyline, but from what I do remember is that a bunch of kids actually get sent on a field trip to this insane asylum that was turned into a learning facility. I know that it has a lot of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children vibes because it has photographs. I think I read this book either last year or 2 years ago, or at least I tried to read this book, and I honestly just forgot about it. So this book I definitely will try to read again because I'm really interested in the whole idea and it looks really flippin' creepy and I like that. But at the time I started reading it, I really just didn't have enough attention span or time to finish this series. Alright guys, that's gonna be it with this video. I love you all. Please be safe, make good choices, and I will see you next Monday.